Hello everyone, I welcome you all to my channel. As in my last video lecture, I already completed the line by line explanation till the third stanza. So today I'll be starting my lecture with the fourth stanza. I'm reading out the lines of the fourth stanza. Here comes the text of the poem. So students, carefully follow the lines. Unless governor, inspector, visitor, this map becomes their window, and these windows that shut upon their lives like catacombs break open till they break the town and show the children to green fields and make their world run azure on gold sands and let their tongues run naked into books, the white and green leaves open history theirs whose language is the sun. So this is the fourth stanza of the poem. So this is the final stanza of the poem. In this stanza, Stephen Spender talks about hope, his plea for a new change. His plea means request for a new change for the children. The poet says that the government should take notice of the problem being faced by this slum area kids. He urges the system to change the life of these kids and make the world map a reality for them. The poet just wants the government to change the life of this slum area kids. He begs for the change of these kids who are staying in the slum areas. There is a need to break the restrictions which are put on them due to poverty and lack of resources as if they are deprived of each and every facilities in their life. He wants the governor and the public to help these kids in achieving their dream. Public means the higher class people here. Okay, government as well as the higher class people. He just want them to help these kids in achieving their dreams, as this will take them away from the fog to azure sky. From fog to azure sky is that the poet here wants to say that in this way the kids can be taken away from the darkness of their present to a bright future. Okay, fog to azure sky means taken away from the darkness to a bright future. He wants these kids to experience the sand and the beauty of nature, as this will lead to a desire of gaining knowledge. Okay, he just want the kids, slum area kids, to observe the nature, observe the beauty of the nature and gain a kind of experience from it. Okay, and this will help them in gaining a kind of a knowledge. Okay, they will then go through the white and green leaves. Here white leaves means the books and green leaves means the nature. The poet is telling the kids to observe the nature carefully and observe the beauty of the nature and gain experience from it, so that in that way they can gain a knowledge, some little bit knowledge. So he just telling the children to go through the white and green leaves. White leaves is depicted in this poem. The white leaves is depicted as the books. Okay, is referred to the books, white leaves, and the green leaves depict the nature. Alright, this will then result in their progress and they will be able to paint a bright future for themselves. So this will prove a kind of a progress to them. Okay, they will be bit successful in observing the nature, beauty of the nature and experiencing them, and in this way they will gain some knowledge also, and this will be a kind of a bit progress, a little progress in them, and they will be able to live a bright future gradually. Okay, given the current upper class scheme to suppress the lower class people through donation, as you all know that in my previous class I had already discussed that the upper class people were just offering some kind of donation to the lower class people. That was not much useful to the slum area kids. Okay, but the students are either locked in their social position, as they are very much locked in their slum area region. they can't never go out, get out from those areas. Okay, can never imagine they can never imagine to get out from their slum area region and go to a city or somewhere else. Okay, so they are just locked in a social position, as well as this upper class people always tempt this lower class people or lower class students or the children, those who are living in the slum areas. Always they are tempting the lower class children to do a kind of a criminal activities. Okay, they are just providing some kind of donation to the lower class people, and then they are just expecting them, or they are just expecting the lower class people to do a kind of some criminal activities or involve them in a kind of criminal activities. They always tempting this lower class people, as this lower class people are not having that much knowledge and they are easily influenced by the upper class people. Okay, so Stephen Fender is claiming that if the students are truly allowed free exploration, then they will progress and their language will become the sun. So Stephen Fender, the poet, is saying that if these students are provided a good opportunity or the requirement, if they are provided with the requirement they need, okay, or they are provided with a good opportunity, or they are allowed a kind of a free exploration, then they will progress in their life. These students will progress in their life and their language will become the sun. Okay, when they will gain some knowledge, their language will become the suns. Then become the sun means their language will become more powerful. After gaining knowledge, their language, after gaining some knowledge, and how they will gain some knowledge? By observing the beauty of nature and experiencing it, and as well as by studying or by learning in some good schools, right? In some good schools, not in a school that is situated in a slum area. In some learning or going to a school, going to a good quality school, taking a good quality education. Okay, involving themselves in a good quality of learning. After they will learn, their language will become sun, and burning away the fog. Burning away the fog means burning away the darkness that is prevailing in their lives, that has sealed their fates and doomed them to a classroom in a slum. That this darkness which has sealed their fates and doomed them, had locked them up in that particular classroom which is present in the slum region. Okay, so this is a detailed explanation of the poem. It is finally done for today, and after this, as usual, I would like to provide you the literary terms, the rhyme scheme and the keywords. So moving ahead to the other areas of the poem, all the list you can see it on your screen. So first we come to the rhyme scheme of the poem. The poem has been written in a free verse. Okay, it is written in a free verse. That means it does not have any kind of rhyme scheme. The poem is not having any kind of rhyme scheme, because the poem is written in a free verse. When a poem is written in a free verse, it means that the poem is not having any kind of a rhyme scheme. Alright, next I am going to discuss the last topic of today, that is the literary devices present in the poem. So first we will talk or focus on the similes we found in the poem. Okay, I think there are two similes we can found in the poem. So first one is the children are compared with rootless weeds. Like rootless wheat, this phrase appeared in the text of the poem, like rootless weeds. Okay, so right, like rootless wheat, this phrase you can see in your text. Okay, so children are compared with rootless wheat. Alright, this is the first example of the simile. Second one, they are repaired spectacles like bottle bits on stone. Okay, you can also see it on your screen. Like bottle bits on your stone is present in the poem itself, means they are repaired spectacle. This is the another simile. Next one is the metaphors. So I will just be giving you the examples of metaphors. So first one is the boy is compared with paper. So boy is compared with paper as he is thin. So the phrase you can see in your poem, paper simming boy. Okay. Next one, walls are described to be dull as shower creams. You can see in your poem, shower cream walls. Okay. Third one, the future of the kids is described as limited. So from the poem, the line, just follow the line, narrow street sealed with the lead sky. This is the third example of metaphor. Fourth one is, their homes are very small like holes. You can just find out a phrase in the poem itself, is a cramped holes. Fifth one, books and nature are expressed in a form of white and green leaves. The white green leaves open. You can just find it out in the text. The white green leaves open. So all these are the examples of metaphors which are present in the poem. Then coming to the alliteration, we come across F sound, F, okay, F sound in from fog. Just you can see that phrase in your poem itself, from fog. And next alliteration is the B sound, B sound in bottle bits. Okay, bottle B and bits again B. Okay, next is the repetition. So in this poem we can just find a single repeated word, that is far, F-A-R, far. Far is repeated. Use of far is to give stress on the distance. Alright, so you can just see in your poem that far is repeated many times. I think 3 to 4 times. I think 4 times it is repeated, 4 or 5 times it is repeated. You just check it in your textbook. Okay, it is repeated. Why it is repeated? Because to give a kind of a stress on the distance. Alright, last one is the assonance. Assonance is another literary device. So repetition of vowel. What is assonance? Repetition of vowel sound, as I already told in my earlier videos, lectures. Repetition of vowel sound. Vowel, you all know, vowel sound. The repetition of vowel sound is known as assonance. So in this poem, the repetition of vowel sound E. Okay, we can just see the repetition of vowel sound E in the words or some phrases from this poem. Bellied, B-E-L-L-E-D, bellied. Next one is flowery, F-L-O-W-E-R-Y, flowery. E sound is repeated. Each sound can be heard. Bellied, E, flowery, E. Tirolesi valley, Tirolesi valley. Okay, Tirolesi. If you are breaking the syllables and pronouncing it, okay, if you just pronounce it by breaking the syllables, then you can just know that you can just hear the sound of the vowels E. Okay, so bellied E, flowery E, Tirolesi E, valley E. Okay, so E sound has been continuously repeated in the 4 words. So in the assonance we can find the repetition of the vowel sound E. Now I've just listed down some the keywords from this poem as usual in each and every poem I do. So just now mark down the keywords in your textbook, which will also appear right there on your screen. So here are some keywords from the poem. Just you all know it very well how you are going to mark it, just with a underline and with a double quotation mark. You just mark down the keywords. Okay, it is right there on your screen. So we come to the end of this lecture. In the next virtual class, I will be coming up with the themes and the conclusion of this poem. That will be the last part of this poem. After that, I will be providing you all the question answers of each and every poetry chapters sequentially. Till then, just go through the lectures and attend the lectures definitely and attentively. That is most important. Keep learning and keep growing. Meet you all soon. Bye bye. Take care.